Well, this is it. As you may recall, these last few years I have done anniversary reviews for the complete Lord of the Rings trilogy Peter Jackson gave us. And the same goes for The Hobbit, its first two films. And now it's been a decade since the final installment of the Hobbit trilogy came out. So brace yourselves. Here's my review of the final chapter of the Hobbit trilogy from Peter Jackson, The Battle of the Five Armies. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Duel, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2014 epic high fantasy adventure flick, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, released by New Line Sim, well, actually through Warner Brothers, along with MGM and Wingnut Films, and once again directed by Peter Jackson. He co-wrote with Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens, and Guillermo del Toro. Of course, this is based off of J.R.R. Tolkien's 1937 novel of The Hobbit, and a sequel to The Desolation of Smaug, as well as the third and final installment of the Hobbit trilogy, acted as a prequel to Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. This film was released on this day, December 17th, 2014. Thus, today's the 10th anniversary after it premiered earlier in New Zealand and had a premiere in London. The film got mixed reviews though, but still was a big success. The film's story concludes the adventures of the titular hobbit Bilbo Baggins and Thorin Oakenshield's company of dwarves who take possession of the treasure within the Lonely Mountain as factions of dwarves, elves, and men clash over it, while the orc Azog the Defiler and his forces make their move upon them. And this features the same, just about the same cast we saw in the other films and what have you. This would also be the final film to feature Ian Holm, who passed away 6 years later. And also the final live action role of the late great Christopher Lee. Now, before I start my review, if you have not seen my reviews of the first two Hobbit films, I've now included them in my Lord of the Rings playlist, which that's now been changed to the Lord of the Rings slash Hobbits. Well, the Hobbit. So if you haven't seen my reviews of the first two Hobbit films, click on that up there and I'll take you to the playlist, which has now been changed to the Lord of the Rings slash the Hobbit, okay? Okay, enough said. Let's get started. Bilbo and the dwarves watch from the lonely mountain as a dragon Smaug sets Lake Town ablaze. Bard breaks out of prison and kills Smaug with the black arrow. Smaug's falling body crushes the master of Lake Town and his cronies, who were escaping on a boat with the town's gold. Bard becomes the new leader of Lake Town and guides its people to seek refuge in the ruins of Dale. Thorin, now possessing the vast treasure in the mountains, searches obsessively for the Arkenstone, which Bilbo had previously found but kept hidden. Upon hearing that Lake Town survivors have fled to Dale, he orders the entrance of the Lonely Mountain sealed off. Meanwhile, Galadriel, Elrond, and Saruman arrive at Dol Guldur and free Gandalf, sending him to safety with Radagast. They battle and defeat the Nazgul and then face a formless Sauron. Galadriel banishes him and his forces and says he will go to the east. Azog, marching on Erebor with his vast orc army, sends his son Bolg to Mount Gundabad to summon their second army. Legolas and Tauriel witness the march of Bolg's army, bolstered by orc berserkers and giant bats. Thranduil and an elf army arrive in Dale to reclaim a treasure once withheld from them by the orc. Well, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. Dwarf King Thor. I said Thor. May have mispronounced it. Bard asks Thorin for the share of gold previously promised by the to the people of Lake Town, but Thorin refuses. Gandalf arrives at Dale to warn Bard and Thranduil of Azog's army, but Thranduil dismisses this advice. Bilbo sneaks the Arkenstone out of Erebor and gives it to Thranduil and Bard so they can trade it for the promised treasures and prevent a war. Thorin angrily refuses the proposal while Bilbo chides him from letting greed cloud his judgment. Thorin nearly kills Bilbo, but is stopped by Gandalf. Thorin's cousin Dan arrives with his dwarf army, and a battle of dwarves against elves and men ensues until Azog's army arrives. The forces of Dain, Thranduil, and Bard, along with Gandalf and Bilbo, immediately band together against the orcs. A second front is opened when the orcs attack Dale, forcing Bard to withdraw his forces to defend the city. Now I'm going to do the final act and the ending together. So you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video, go to the description box below, and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen this movie already, please continue once the 5 seconds are over with, which will be starting any second now. Okay. Okay, you've been warned. Inside Erebor, Thorin suffers hallucinations of being swallowed up by gold before regaining his sanity, realizing his greed and selfishness, and leading his company to join the battle. He rides with Drellin, Fili, and Kili to Ravenhill to kill Azog. Meanwhile, Tauriel and Legolas arrive to warn the dwarves of Bolg's arrival, and Bilbo volunteers to relay the news to Thorin, using his magic ring to move through the combat unseen. Azog kills Fili as Bilbo and the other dwarves are forced to watch. Bolg overpowers Tauriel and then kills Kili, who had come to her aid. Legolas battles Bolg and eventually kills him. The Great Eagles arrive with Radagast and Beorn as the orcs are finally defeated. In the climax, Thorin engages Azog in a duel and kills him, but is fatally wounded in the process. Bilbo makes peace with the dying Thorin, while Tauriel mourns Kili. Thranduil advises Legolas to seek out a ranger in the north who goes by the name Strider. Thorin's company sails back into Erebor with Dain as their new king. Bilbo bids farewell to the company's remaining members and journeys home to the Shire with Gandalf. As the two part ways on the outskirts of the Shire, Gandalf admits his knowledge of Bilbo's magic ring and warns him of it, although Bilbo assures him that he had lost the ring. Bilbo returns to Bag End to find his belongings being auctioned off because he was presumed dead. He stops the sale and starts tidying up his home, revealing he still possesses the ring. 60 years later, Bilbo receives a visit from Gandalf on his 111th birthday. End of story. So what did I think of The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies? Now, like the other two films, I've only seen it like 2 or 3 times. But I will say this was pretty epic, though. I know it got mixed reviews and what have you, and I completely do understand. But it's the lowest grossing of the 3 films in the trilogy, however, and also the lowest grossing of the 6 Middle-earth adaptations, but however was ranked the 6th highest grossing film in 2014. The film went on to make $962 million worldwide against its $209 to $300 million budget. Now, the film sits at 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, just barely hanging on by a thread in the fresh section. I almost said rotten, my mistake. Though somewhat overwhelmed by its own spectacle, this film ends Peter Jackson's second Middle-earth trilogy on a reasonably satisfying note. Metacritic has a score of 59, while CinemaScore gave this film the grade of an A, the same as its predecessor, The Desolation of Smaug. Variety said the result is that once the trilogy's most engrossing episode is most expeditious at comparatively lean 144 minutes, and also its darkest both visually and in terms of the forces that stir in the hearts of men, dwarves, and orcs alike. Yeah. Todd McCarthy of The Hollywood Reporter said after 6 films, 13 years, and 1,031 minutes of accumulated writing time, Peter Jackson has concluded his massively remunerative genuflection at the altar of J.R.R. Tolkien with a film that may be the most purely entertaining of any in the collection. Yeah, most of them are pretty good. Now, some did, well, kind of talks about the eons long battle sequences, sloppy and abrupt resolutions and stuff like that. Well, according to the rap and stuff like that. Anyway, nevertheless, I found the film to be pretty good and what have you. Now, eventually, I did say 6 overall, but here in the US, it became the second highest grossing film of 2014, right behind Transformers Age of Extinction, which might have gone this, but still became a big success. They have Howard Shore on board to do the score, and he does a good job. Now, I actually think the story is not too bad, and I do think that the action sequences are absolutely incredible, though. And I feel like this is a good way to put an end to the Hobbit trilogy. Now, of course, we have in our cast Martin Freeman once again plays Bilbo Baggins, while Ian Holm in one of his final film played the old Bilbo Baggins. Sir Ian McKellen once again plays Gandalf, and he's still good. Richard Armitage is Thorin, really good. Orlando Bloom is Legolas. Evangeline Lilly as Tauriel, they're still good. Luke Evans as Bard, good. Benedict Cumberbatch plays, well, does Smaug's voice and Sauron's voice. Lee Pace plays Thranduil, good. Graham McTavish as Dwalin, good. The list goes on and on. There's also Cate Blanchett as Galadriel, Hugo Weaving as Elrond, Christopher Lee in his last performances as Saruman the White. There was even Sylvester McCoy as Radagast the Brown. Billy Connolly's in this. Stephen Fry's in this. Once again, I am just going to say the list goes on with the cast. So anyway, while it might not be one of the best films in this of the overall Middle Earth series Peter Jackson's given to us, but nevertheless, I found the Battle of the Five Armies to be pretty decent enough and pretty entertaining. Anyway, now of course the film has been released on physical media, so you can check it out. And there's also a special and yes, like the other films, there's a special extended cut. And I have yet to watch the extended cuts of any of Peter Jackson's Middle Earth series, but, well, I do think it looks like it might just be good. There would also be 2 video games, The Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies Fight for Middle Earth for Android and iOS platforms, as well as the action adventure game Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor, which was released on PlayStation 3 and 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One, Microsoft Windows. So, which I haven't played, but I've heard of that game though. But anyway, I am going to say that with great cast, it's good, pretty great, and well, and or good action sequences and stuff like that. I find the Battle of the Five Armies to be not too bad. Well, I'm not. Well, it's not really one of the best, but still, it manages to pull some things off though, with its action sequences and battles and what have you, just like what you got from the other films. So overall, would I recommend The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies? I would say yes, sure, go ahead. I mean, only if you, but I could also give you a one ask you give this a one-time watch only if you are a hardcore completionist of this series. Okay, so consider it a draw between sure, go ahead and give it a one-time watch if you're a hardcore completionist. So anyway, what did you think of The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, consider clicking the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, make it grow and make the views grow. And there's going to be a little change for my next vid. It's still going to be a mini reviews vid, which will feature Afraid and Wolves. But also, it will include a mini review of a new Netflix film I watched called Carry On. So, so you'll get 3 films in the next mini reviews vid instead of 2. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. But if you like this, you can check out my review of these other films. These 2 are also part of the Lord of the Rings playlist, but I'll give these to you separately. In the upper left-hand corner is my back-to-back review on the original Lord of the Rings animated feature from 1978 and the made-for-TV Return the King film from 1980. Or go to the upper right-hand corner and see my spoiler-free review of the brand new anime film, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. Or if you would like maybe something else a little bit magical for a prequel series, check out my spoiler-free review of the previous installment of the Wizarding World series in Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. And please continue to help support my channel and subscribe as well, because I lost a subscriber and I'd like to get that one back and hopefully get to 800. So now I'm back to 15, trying to get 15, okay? So hope for the best that I can get to 800. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.